Happy New Year, everybody. Yes, today is in fact the day, which kind of sounds a little bit weird. Listen, we're going to do some inside baseball on this one. We're about a week before Christmas. Okay, it's the 19th of December. I'll give you the exact date on this one. Okay, I'm recording this well beforehand, mostly because Christmas falls on a Sunday and I'm going to have a lot of things to do. And normally the way that I record the stuff on this channel is in a batch format, and I do a lot of it on Sunday. So because it's just not afforded to me at the time, and I put them out and, make sure that they're out for me local time, 6 o'clock. Everything drops right then and there. So in order for that to happen in a timely fashion, I got to do that well beforehand. And that Sunday's just been blocked off for me. And I'm so glad that was the case in this one, okay? Because I found this story right here. And guys, you know what? I have my exercise physiology degree. I was a practicing personal trainer. I still can be at any point in time. I got my degree. I have my Bachelor of Science and all that fun stuff as well. And I learned a thing or two about losing weight. Heck, I even dropped about 200 pounds myself through moving and eating less and eating properly. But hey man, I didn't know what she has a master's in science, guys. Okay, it was reviewed by a dietitian, Jessica Ball, who is, yes, she got her master's in science, a registered dietitian after all. Carla Walsh says that eating less and moving more doesn't actually work for weight loss, according to a new study. I can't believe, man. I've been seeing people succeed on the entirely logical advice that all you need to do is just stop over consuming calories and then work off more than you actually consume. Just run a caloric deficit and then you will end up losing weight. I never, ever, ever considered that to be incorrect until now. In 2023 is starting off with a bang because my mind is being exploded in real time. Let's take a look at this. For some, a checkup with a primary care doctor feels like no big deal. Merch. First one of the year. A few tests, some note that a thumbs up present with a see you next year. But for millions and millions of Americans, including most of the 42% of adults who fall under the umbrella of obesity, 42% of adults are obese, 75% are overweight, okay? By the potentially inaccurate body mass index standard and a couple of other standards as well. Like you can throw out BMI, okay? You can take a look at weight, and BMI doesn't do a great job when it comes to that stuff, but for the most part, for your general American that's out there, okay, they aren't athletes, they aren't high-performing individuals, okay? That gut in front of you doesn't get offset by the fact that you're over 6 feet tall. Well, I work out all the time, 3 days a week, 20 minutes at a time. It's a good start, but if that's as much as you're doing all the time, but you're sitting down with a jumbo-sized bag of chips, really doesn't offset that stuff. But hey, that's old order thinking right now, okay? We need to have 2023 brain on right now. We're not throwing stones at doctors. Oh, of course not. Heaven forbid we ever want to hold the experts accountable. And we know that many treat patients with compassion. Of course, because you shouldn't treat them with facts, okay? If somebody's fat, you shouldn't call them fat because that's being insensitive, gosh darn. But yes, I targeted advice in a body-neutral way. Of course, if somebody's fat, well, especially women, because we know that's what, this article was written by, reviewed by, and then marketed towards, so let's just call it what it is, okay? She's not fat. Love your curves, okay? And if you're bitchy and moany, whining and complaining, you're just a strong and independent woman. They can't handle you, girl. Let's just stop this, Ernie. Come on now. I thought I could get through this, just completely in gimmick, but it doesn't really look like it's going to last. But that's not the norm. Of course not, right? You should be nicer about this stuff. Listen, Susan, we know that you're 400 pounds and 5'4", okay? We thought that we could get 2023 off on a good... No, it's all fine. Don't get up, okay? We'll have your milkshake, carted in. Don't worry about it. That's all fine, okay? There's nothing wrong with you, okay? You can survive another heart attack. We know that you're 24. It'll only become a problem later in life, but that's all right. Everything's fine now. Can we help you out with anything? Yes, we know that you're just internalizing some childhood trauma, and that's why you're morbidly obese. We know that it doesn't have anything to do with your diet subsisting directly on everything that comes out of bags and boxes, and yes, we know. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't hear me over the crunching of the chips and then the ingestion of ho-hos. one after another, the crinkling of the wrapping. I know it's very loud. We'll come back to you later. Is that what they're advocating for? But that's not the norm. Yes, according to a study published December 13th, 2022. Now, that's last year's stuff. What are we going on this for? In the journal Family Practice. Oh, okay, cool. In it, the researchers say that the majority of cases, doctors give patients weight loss advice that's more abstract than actionable, too vague to be beneficial, and not always supported by science. Oh, which science? The science or real science? What are we going with here? Okay, what do you guys elaborate on? Ahead, learn about how researchers landed at this conclusion, plus what scientists say medical professionals and those being consulted by them should keep in mind. Okay, cool. This just sounds like you're trying to tone police, but maybe I could be wrong, guys. I could be wrong. A team of experts at the University of Oxford in England. Oh, that's very prestigious. They would obviously know, considering this is a society that subsists basically on everything that is boiled and fried. What will they know about weight loss? Investigated 159 audio recordings, consultations between general practitioners and their patients who had BMI within the ranges deemed obese. Okay, so generally speaking, like, these obese people, they're pretty fat, okay? Like, if they're just talking to general people, like, I think the way that my BMI shakes out, and yes, I would consider myself to be an athlete. I exercise every single day for multiple hours on end. I could give you my measurements and all that stuff, but I'm not vain like that, okay? I think my BMI is in on or around 30, okay? So technically, I would be obese, but if you go by body fat percentage, sub 10%, yeah, I don't really think so. I could show you my abs if you want, but we don't need to get crass on this channel. So yes, that's why, body fat percentage, even though it is kind of inelegant to measure, it's not quite as easy as going height, weight, and plunking it into a calendar, okay? It's not quite a catch-all, but if they're talking to general people, okay, and they're talking about weight loss, these aren't athletes that are just, more muscle than fat on their skeleton, okay? Like, let's be deductive about this. Let's put our problem-solving hat on. Superficial advice was common, including guidance that one person should change their lifestyle a bit. Yeah, exactly. Okay, if you're going to be criticizing doctors for being obscure, that's fine, okay? Instead of saying, hey, fat ass, you need to change your diet, okay? And here's what you're going to be doing going forward. Limit your carbohydrates, up your protein, okay? And then just move something, okay? Moving that ham hock that doubles as a leg, that'll do some exercise for you, okay? Just moving your flabby arms, okay? Not getting hit by those bingo wings attached on both sides. Yeah, that'll be pretty good exercise for you. You could work up a sweat that way, okay, if you want to be direct like that, but there's no doctor at the end of my name, okay? I didn't get my MD, probably for very good reasons. My bedside manner would be a little bit more crass than these audio recordings that you investigated. Only 20% of appointments, including doctors offering advice about how to actually accomplish the weight loss that they were recommending. 3 key habits actually maintaining weight loss that are important parts of the conversation too. Oh, they're going to recommend some stuff. But what are the doctors talking about specifically? Common suggestions included following abstract tips, which aren't actually backed by current science. Eat less, move more. How is that not back? Because you could extrapolate that out. Okay, just take the stairs. As opposed to, what, those people movers that are in a lot of airports, which I think are very strange, okay? But yeah, take the stairs. It's obviously more exertive, and you put forth more effort than you would by taking an elevator. So it's like, and there's, okay, even if you just want to use like your noggin on this one, there's a stair master at the gym. There is no elevator master at the gym. Be careful what you eat. Yeah, that's good advice, okay? You don't want to eat nutritionally devoid foods, okay, that are just high in caloric content, because you aren't actually going to be satiated and you aren't going to be fulfilled in a nutritional profile sense. But that's not backed by current science? What are you talking about? Okay, reduce your carbs. Well, yeah, if somebody's running a caloric surplus due to the amount of carbohydrates they eat, which is your standard American diet at this point in time, you should probably work on that. Use an app to track your calories so you can monitor calories in and calories out. How is that not backed by science? Because it's, I hate to give up the ghost when it comes to personal training and diet advice, okay? It's calories in versus calories out. It's pretty simple, bro. Like, you're saying that it's not supported by science, but if you eat more than you work off, even with your basal metabolic rate factored in on this, you're never going to lose weight. Duh. Get as much exercise as your joints will allow. I would say do a little bit more or just accommodate yourself for any structural limitations, but okay. Like, this isn't terrible advice. Make your own gluten-free flour since it won't have sugar. Yo, that's just stupid. That's just thrown at the wall right there. Okay, gluten-free flour. Coconut flour. What's the other popular one that's out there? I just don't do like carbs in general at all anymore. Almond flour. Almond flour is the other one that's out there. Okay, but make your own gluten-free flour. Like, okay, cool. Gluten is protein after all. Yeah, gluten is also highly inflammatory, but we'll just go ahead and leave that out, okay? Because get as much exercise as your joints will allow. Normally, if you've got joint pain, it's just a byproduct of heavy inflammation in those joints. So heaven forbid you'd want to connect those two dots. God, this is so stupid. Our analysis identifies that clinicians mostly do not provide effective advice. So even if patients were to follow the advice, they would be unlikely to lose weight. Yeah, because again, nobody wants to be charged with malpractice for telling somebody that they're fat and you should stop eating like a pig. You hurt my feelings. Now I'm going to charge you I'm going to sue you for $7 million for emotional damage. Researchers write in a journal noting that to eat less, do more angle was to go to fallback recommendation when other resources weren't available. No, and that's pretty sound advice, but I'd imagine, okay, going to the doctor and it's like, yeah, you're fat. What should I do about that, doc? I don't know. You eat less, do more. I'm sure that there's probably more context to that, but hey, man, you got yourself a catchy headline, and well, you got me reading it. It's definitely understandable why more tailored, nuanced advice is challenging to provide. Yeah, that's kind of like you need to throw on the disclaimer every single time that the big tech companies will tell you to consult with your healthcare provider. But then now, Eating Well, the blog here, is trying to undermine your healthcare providers by, they don't actually know you all that well, so what, you should put your faith in the experts? Interesting. Since our current medical system is treatment and disease-centric rather than focused on prevention. That's interesting. So how would you categorize a vaccine? I'm just wondering, man. Isn't that supposed to be preventing you from catching something? It doesn't really compute. But here I am using my thoughts to try to, suss out anything. This is another great reason why it's important to consult experts specialized in the fields like registered dietitians and physical therapists. You're just trying to promote your own business here. Stop it. Plus, doctors are often too short on time to really get to know their patients' habits. Isn't that kind of a generalization that doesn't really help your average individual that's out there? Come on now. And other external factors might impact your overall well-being, saying access to a safe place to exercise. Don't you people have rooms? Or the need to work 3 jobs to pay the bills. Well, that sucks. It sounds like you're bad with money, and time management is a bit of a problem for you. So I've got plenty of videos on that on this channel as well, so if you'd like to go over that. Not to mention the research field is constantly evolving. But you know what's actually pretty consistent? Eating less and moving more. I'm just saying. So, okay, what's the bottom line? Okay, what do you have to throw in here before we peace out? A small study analyzing doctor conversations with patients reveals that much of the standard weight loss advice is too vague to be useful. A small study analyzing conversation reveals that the entire exercise industry is a bit sus. I don't really think you can draw those conclusions definitively, my dude. It is important to note that the tiny peek into the medical offices in one country had to one point in time, and there are many doctors and other medical professionals who are connecting on a personal level and offering referrals to experts in nutrition, exercise, and community advocacy. What does that have to do with anything? Okay, your nutrition and your exercise. Wow, okay, cool. You kind of self-snitched on yourself right there. Eat less and move more, not good advice. So go talk to people who will tell you how to eat less and move more. That's about all the stupidity I can handle right here. This is just the best way that I thought that we could kick off 2023 by dispelling one of the most nonsensical articles I've seen in a long time. And to have a bit of a laugh at the expense of the experts that are out there. Ugh. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. And happy 2023, y'all. Take care, everyone.